Chapter 3. You never win by reacting. Welcome back, wanderers of stillness, seekers of inner sovereignty, to the Chill Stoic. Today we peel back another veil of illusion. Because not every silence is surrender, and not every outburst is truth. We live in an age where the loudest voice often wins attention but rarely respect, where being reactive is mistaken for being alive. But the Stoics knew something different. They knew that silence, when rooted in clarity, is not weakness. It is power held steady in the palm of presence. Let's begin here. First, they hurt you. Then they say you're the one making things complicated. Because you felt something? Because you dared to speak when pain knocked at your chest. And suddenly the roles shift. You're no longer the one harmed. You're the one being too sensitive, too dramatic, too much. But here's the truth most people miss. You didn't overreact. You responded. There's a universe between those two. A reaction is a flare. A response is a mirror. You are trying to ignite chaos. You were naming the fire that was already there. But manipulators thrive in that gray zone. They break the vase, hand you the shards, and then blame you for bleeding. It's an emotional trap as old as time. They cause the wound, then act wounded by your discomfort. You question your reality, explain your tone, shrink your truth. Before long, you're not defending your feelings. You're apologizing for having them. And this is not a disagreement. This is emotional control camouflaged as conflict. Most people in that moment react. They raise their voice. They rush to defend. They chase clarity from someone who never intended to offer it. But listen closely. You never win by reacting first. Because reaction hands over your peace like currency. It turns your pain into their excuse. It makes the chaos about your voice instead of their violation. The Stoics warned us. If someone does wrong, the harm lies in them, not in you. Marcus Aurelius. And Epictetus wrote, when someone provokes you, remember, it is not their action that disturbs you, but your judgment of it. You don't have to react because they want you to. You don't have to scream because they whisper. You don't have to bleed louder just because they pretend not to notice. Let's ground this in reality. You say, what you said hurt me. They scoff. I was joking. You're so emotional. Now you're unraveling, explaining, proving, but they're not engaging. They're measuring. Every word you speak becomes their leverage. Every tear becomes a target. This isn't communication. This is performance warfare. And if you're not mindful, you become a performer too, begging for clarity, chasing closure that was never theirs to give. But here's your pivot point. You don't owe it performance. You owe yourself peace. And peace begins where reactivity ends. Between the trigger and your response, there's a still place. That's where your dignity lives. That's where your power breathes. Neuroscience affirms this ancient knowing. When triggered, your amygdala, the brain's emergency siren, takes over. You fight, you flee, you freeze. But when you pause, even briefly, the prefrontal cortex awakens. The part of you that reasons, reflects, chooses. As Viktor Frankl, who survived the darkest suffering, wrote, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. In our choice lies our growth and our freedom. This space is sacred. It is where Stoicism begins, not with reaction, but with restraint, not with blame, but with boundary. Those who manipulate want you reactive, because the reactive are easy to blame, easy to confuse, easy to mold. But the one who pauses, who doesn't shout back, who meets chaos with unbothered presence, that person becomes unreadable, unshakable, and touchable. And when they can't read you, they can't twist you, they can't own your emotions, they can't write your story. So remember this: stillness is not silence born of fear, it is silence anchored in strength. And in a world of fire starters, the Stoic becomes the water bearer. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. Let them call you cold. Let them say, "You've changed." Let them say nothing at all. But don't let them own your peace. You don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to defend your humanity. You don't need to prove that what they did was real. Your calm is your clarity. Your pause is your protection. And your silence, when chosen from strength, is the loudest truth in the room. If this reached a quiet part of you, the part that's been blamed for feeling too deeply, that's been told your reaction was the problem, know this: your depth is not your flaw, it is your compass. Here at the Chill Stoic, we don't perform for love, we don't beg for clarity, we don't flinch at silence, we study it, we sit inside it, and from that stillness, we rise, one unshakable breath at a time. Subscribe, turn on the quiet, and journey with us into the deeper self no one can manipulate.